My parents ignored my graduation and chose my brother's party instead. But when they saw my $1.2 million luxury penthouse on Instagram, my father suddenly sent a message. "Daughter, we need to talk to you about something important. We're waiting for you." But when I got home, the real surprise was for them. My father's message came to my phone at 8:17 that night. "Daughter, we need to talk to you about something important. We're waiting for you." I read that message while looking at the same graduation photo they hadn't even bothered to like, but the second they saw my penthouse post on Instagram, I had suddenly come back to mind. My name is Avery. I'm 28 years old. I live in Chicago. And that night, for the first time, I wasn't going to my parents' house for revenge. I was taking the truth with me. My brother Cole, 31. The prince of the house always had been. He moved through life like every room already belonged to him. If this already hit your heart, subscribe now, because what happened next hurt even more, and some family wounds reveal the truth in the darkest way. My mother Linda, 62. Driven by one disease and one disease only. What will people say? My father Martin, 65. A quiet man, but only when silence worked in his favor. Cole's wife Stacy, beautiful, and every bit as dangerous as a jealous woman hiding behind a polished smile can be. And me, the daughter who was always told, "You can handle yourself." It sounded like praise. It wasn't. I worked nights for 2 years to get that degree. Classes during the day. Remote shifts for a consulting firm at night. Freelance design on weekends. Very little sleep. A lot of debt. But I did it. I earned my MBA. With honors. The morning of the ceremony, I sent everyone a group text. "It starts at 3. Please be on time." Mom replied, "Of course, sweetheart." Dad sent a thumbs up. Cole sent nothing. Thought fine. That's who he is. At 2:44 that afternoon, Mom called. "Sweetheart, a small problem came up." I straightened my cap. "What happened?" "We might be a little late." "How late?" Silence. Then she said quietly, "Actually, we're going to Cole's house. Today." Yes. Stacy put together a surprise celebration for him. He got a promotion. I said nothing for a few seconds. Then I asked, "What about my graduation?" "Honey, a graduation can be recorded. You don't miss a family moment." I laughed. Soundlessly. "My graduation isn't a family moment?" Her voice hardened. "Don't start drama, Avery. You know how hard your brother works." I said, "So do I." She answered, "This isn't about you." I hung up. I walked across that stage. My name was called. People stood. Applause broke out. The girl next to me had a mother crying in the audience. Another guy's dad yelled so loudly everyone laughed. In front of my chair there were 3 empty seats. I heard it. Not everyone did. But I did. Empty chairs are loud. After the ceremony, I was standing in the parking lot when Cole's Instagram story popped up. He was in the backyard of his house. Beer in hand. Sunglasses hanging from his collar. The caption said, "Family first. Big win today." You could hear my mother laughing in the background. I didn't cry that night. I set my degree on the table. Kicked off my shoes. Opened my laptop. And signed my new offer letter. A week later I moved to Chicago. 3 months later I landed a senior strategy role. 6 months later my bonus came through. A year later I negotiated an equity deal with my company. 2 years later I bought my penthouse. $1.2 million. Facing Lake Shore. Glass walls. A private terrace. A white stone kitchen. And the kind of silence that doesn't ask anyone for permission. I didn't post it right away after I bought it. I'm not into showing off. Then one evening my friend Jenna came over. She looked around and said, "Girl, you earned this. Post it." I said, "For who?" He shrugged. "For yourself. And maybe for the people who thought you'd stay small." So I posted it. From loans and night shifts to my own penthouse. I did it. That was it. Within 2 hours the post blew up. My boss commented. College friends shared it. A lifestyle page reposted it. And then at 8:17 that night, Dad's message came in. "Daughter, we need to talk to you about something important. We're waiting for you." 7 minutes later Mom called. I picked up. "Avery." Her voice had suddenly turned sweet. "You never told us." "Told you what?" "This apartment. I mean penthouse. Oh my God. We are so proud of you." I looked out at the city lights through the window. Were you proud of me at my graduation too? Silence. Then she laughed lightly and tried to glide around it. Honey, let go of the old stuff. That's not how family works. Come this weekend. We'll have dinner. We'll celebrate. Celebrate what? Your success, obviously. I said, 2 years later? She lowered her voice. Are you still holding that in your heart? You didn't forget either. You just ignored it. Her tone shifted at once, wounded and offended. We have done so much for you. I laughed again. Out loud this time. Really? Dad came on the phone. Come home, Avery. No hello. No apology. Just an order. I asked, why? He said, we need to discuss something important. Face to face. About what? We can't do this over the phone. I said, fine. Tomorrow evening. That same night Cole texted me. Nice place. Didn't know you had it like that. I didn't respond. He texted again. Mom's emotional. Be decent tomorrow. I put my phone down. Be decent. Miss my graduation. Ignore my photos. Then see my penthouse and summon me home. And I'm supposed to be decent? Wrong, sister. The next day I did one more thing. I opened my old emails. I listened to old voice notes. I went through group texts. I pulled screenshots. Then I took out the documents from my bank folder. The ones I had stumbled across a year earlier and kept separate ever since. Because this wasn't the first time my parents needed something from me. This pattern was old. When I was 16, Cole drove Dad's truck into a wall. I was told, don't tell your mother. She's stressed. When I was 18, I got a college scholarship. Mom said, amazing. The next week, they cut a cake for Cole's enrollment at community college. When I was 22, I got my first job. Dad said, good. Now you can pay your own insurance. That same year, Cole's business collapsed. Dad gave him $75,000. I asked, was it a loan? Mom said, family doesn't keep score. Wrong. Some families do. They just don't write it down. They carry it around in memory. When I went through my divorce, I asked for a spare room for just 2 months. Mom said, Stacy needs privacy. Look into a hotel. So I got a hotel. When Cole and Stacy bought their second SUV, Dad made the down payment. When I sent a photo of myself in my cap and gown, Mom saw it. She never replied. So yes, I kept score. The next evening I pulled up to their suburban house. The same white door. The same trimmed lawn. The same porch where I had always been made to feel like a guest. Mom was waiting at the door. The second she saw me, she moved in for a hug. I stepped back. Her face hardened for 2 seconds. Then softened again. Come in. The dining table was set. Roast chicken. Wine glasses. Cole and Stacy were already there. I stopped short. This is the family dinner? I asked. Cole was sprawled in his chair. Problem. You're the problem. Usually. He laughed. I didn't. Dad pointed toward a chair. Sit down. I didn't. Say what you need to say. Mom started with a careful smile. We just want to tell you how proud we are of you. I nodded once. Noted. Stacy jumped in fast. And the penthouse is stunning. Very classy. I looked at her. You've been inside my place? She blinked. What? Oh. Instagram. Oh. Because you mentioned the bedroom view in your comment. That wasn't in the photo. A small pause hit the room. Stacy took a sip of water. I guessed. I said nothing. Dad stepped in to regain control. The real issue is that all of us need to sit down and be practical. In my head I thought, there it is. Practical how? Cole leaned forward. Dad's been under some financial pressure. I looked straight at Dad. You. He waited a beat before answering. Just some temporary issues. I asked, how much? Mom cut in. Numbers aren't necessary. They are to me. Dad's jaw tightened. A business line of credit fell apart. Some investments hit at the wrong time. I said, how much? Cole answered, about 400 grand. I stared at him. For your business? He said, for the family business. I laughed. Your business is family? So is my income family too. Mom snapped, Avery, watch your tone. No. Not today. Today the tone stays. Today we do facts. For the first time, Dad said it plainly. We need bridge financing. Just for a few months. Cole spread his hands. Come on. You have a $1.2 million penthouse. And what do you have? My assets are tied up. So you have nothing. Stacy said in a softer voice, we're not asking for charity. I looked at her. That's always what people say when they are absolutely asking for charity. Mom slapped her hand on the table. Enough. I answered coldly, agreed. Enough. Then I opened my bag. Cole looked at me. What is that? I said, the real surprise. I placed a thick brown envelope on the table. Mom frowned. What is this? Open it. Dad opened the envelope. The first page was property records. The color in his face changed. Cole leaned in. What the hell is this? I said quietly, that house. This house. That land. Mom started flipping through the pages. These are old records. Yes. And very interesting ones. Dad's voice went cold. Where did you get these? County records. Public information. They're free. Cole snapped, get to the point. I turned to him. This house, the one we're sitting in right now, was originally left by Grandma Ruth in a trust with both our names on it. 50-50. The room went silent. Mom said immediately, that's wrong. No. What was wrong came later. I pulled out the next page. These are transfer documents. When I was 23 and living in a new city, you emailed me a refinance packet. You said it was a routine signature so Dad could get a better rate. Dad said nothing. Kept going. It wasn't routine. It was a quitclaim deed for my share. Stacy turned to Cole. You knew. He didn't answer right away. I said, that's the twist. You. Mom shouted, that's a lie. I pulled out my phone. No. Because I have the email trail too. And the voicemail, Cole, the one you sent your friend when you were drunk. Cole's face dropped. No way. I hit play. His voice filled the room. Dad got Avery to sign it. She never reads that boring legal crap. Worked out perfect. Then laughter. Then the message ended. I heard it. Everyone heard it. Stacy sat up straight in her chair. Oh my God. Mom turned to Dad. Say something. Dad kept his eyes fixed on me. What do you want? That's a question you should have asked 2 years ago. Name the amount. I laughed. You think I came here just for money? Cole growled. Then what, some family apology tour? No. The law. I laid the next page on the table. It was my attorney's demand letter. I've already had the paperwork prepared for a civil fraud complaint. I just haven't filed it yet. Mom's breath caught. You're going to sue us? Not me. Consequences are. Stacy looked at Cole. You never told me any of this. He barked. Shut up. He fired right back. No, you shut up. What house scam? Mom said, this is a family matter. Stacy almost laughed. No, Linda. This looks more like a felony matter. Dad stood up. Everyone calm down. For the first time I pulled out a chair and sat down. I am calm now. You're not. That's the difference. Cole pointed at me. Look at your timing. Dad's in trouble and you. I cut him off. Dad's in trouble because he spent years protecting you. And you're in trouble because you thought I'd always stay the clueless sister. Mom's voice cracked. We didn't do wrong by you. We were just protecting the family. Which family? She said nothing. So I answered for her. Cole. Always Cole. Dad asked quietly, what do you want? This was the moment. The real one. I said it plainly. 3 things. Cole rolled his eyes. Here we go. First. A full market valuation of my half of the equity in this house. Within 7 days. Mom's mouth fell open. Second. A written admission that the refinance documents were misrepresented. Dad answered instantly. Absolutely not. Fine. Then we do discovery in court. And that voicemail evidence is already backed up. They went silent. Third. All 4 of you will post my graduation photo on your accounts. With the original caption. And underneath it you will write, we should have shown up. Cole laughed loudly. That's insane. I said, you treated the quiet humiliations of my life like they were normal. Now public correction gets to be normal too. Stacy looked at Cole with disgust. Honestly, do it. He turned to her. Excuse me. You didn't tell me you people scammed her either. So yes. Do it. Then the second twist hit. Even I hadn't fully expected it. Stacy pulled out her phone. Actually, Avery, I have something too. The whole room turned toward her. She said, last night I was looking at a bank alert. Cole pulled $80,000 out of our joint account. I assumed it was for business. Then I found documents. Cole went still. Stacy. Don't. She threw her phone onto the table. Vegas trips. Sports betting. Private crypto losses. There is no business pressure. There is you pressure. Mom grabbed her head. Cole. He shouted. It was temporary. Stacy stood up. And the promotion party? There was no promotion. He got demoted. Silence. Then everything broke at once. Mom screamed, you lied to us? Cole shot to his feet. Oh please, like everyone was honest in that house scam? Dad growled, enough. No. Cole shouted back. You taught me this. Fix it. Hide it. Protect the image. That landed directly on Mom's face like a slap. I stayed seated. I didn't say a word. Then Dad looked at me. Really looked at me. For the first time. Old. Tired. Exposed. He said quietly, did you already send the complaint? I said, no. Not yet. If we agree. I stood up. Then for once, you all live on someone else's terms. Mom said in a shaking voice, please don't destroy this family. I started toward the door. Then I stopped. I turned back and said, you've been doing that for years. The only difference is that today I'm not staying quiet. Cole made one last attempt. You think you won? I opened the door and said, no. I just finally walked out. Then I left. The night was cold. But it felt good. The second I got into my car, my phone rang. Stacy. I answered. I want to speak to your lawyer separately, she said. For the record, I'm not protecting Cole. I said, good. The call ended. 20 minutes later, Dad texted me. Just 4 words. We will sign tomorrow. The next week the valuation came in. The number was even higher than I expected. The day after that the written statement arrived. It was carefully worded and full of lawyer language. But it was enough. And on the 3rd day Mom, Dad, Cole and Stacy all posted my graduation photo. Caption. We should have shown up. The comments were brutal. People kept asking, why didn't you? I didn't write a thing. 2 weeks later I found out Stacy left Cole. A month later, Dad mortgaged the house and paid out my share. 2 months later Mom sent me a long message. We're sorry if you ever felt like. I read half of it and deleted it. If you felt. No. I didn't feel it. They did it. Now my penthouse is exactly what it was before. Quiet. High above everything. Clean. But there's one difference. Now when I look out over the city through those glass walls, I don't hear the sound of empty chairs anymore. And whenever I get a notification labeled family, I don't open it right away. First I breathe. Then I decide. Because I'm not that daughter anymore. The one who comes running home the second she's called. Now if I walk through any door I do it on my own feet. And if there's ever a surprise, most of the time it's for them. If this story touched your heart or kept you watching until the end, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Your support truly means a lot and helps us share more powerful stories like this one. Thank you so much for your time, your kindness, and for being here with us today.